So thank you for clicking on our faces. Today we're here, and if you've been here before, you know who we are. I'm See the Superior. This is the Great Grand Slam Poobah, and we're not journalists, but we are geeks, and we're here to bring you the geek news of the week. So, Great Grand Slam, aka Bad Guy Jack, how's your week been going?
So far, so good. Can't complain. We're about to enter the Thanksgiving week, and I
Yeah.
look forward to what I've been saying lately. I love food, so I look forward to eating some really, really good food.
Any
How about,
Friendsgivings this year? I just had a Friendsgiving yesterday.
no, funny enough, I have a friend, and we're trying to plan something. It seemed like it was a little too soon to do it this year because it was too
Okay.
close to time. So we're gonna plan one for next year. And I
Nice.
said, and I sat there and said, I won't be in the kitchen, but I can bring the alcohol.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about the geek news for this week. I'll go ahead and go first if you don't mind.
Please.
All right. So, we have a blast from the future past, right? Days of Future Past with the Jetsons. So, there's a live
Whoa!
Jetson movie in development with big names attached. So, apparently, this movie has been in the making for a while. At least it has been in discussion for quite a while, and it seems like it may be in development hell for a little bit.
Oh, that's terrible.
However, according to Small Screen Co., Jim Carrey is in the lead for playing George Jetson. So they say George Jetson blast off. Jim Carrey set to lead the Jetson movie at Warner Bros. Right. So according to Variety, a live-action Jetson movie is officially moving forward, and Jim Carrey is in talks to play George Jetson. Further down, it says Colin Trevorrow. He directed the Jurassic World series. I'm sorry, the Jurassic World movies. Is set to direct it and co-write it. So, would you be interested in a Jetsons movie? Have you seen the Jetsons?
Oh yeah. I mean, that was some of the stuff that I was growing. I mean, I didn't watch it in the '60s. I want to make that clear. But like when I was growing up in the '90s, and they were
Yeah.
playing that, the Flintstones and Jetsons and all that Hanna-Barbera stuff on Cartoon Network. Yeah, so I'm very familiar with George. As a matter of fact, I will sit here and go, Jim Carrey playing George is a
Hmm.
major upgrade for George because George Jetson was a bore.
Oh,
Oh yeah, he was.
he
He
was a
seemed like
hardworking man. He was a hardworking family man.
well, he was hard. He was hard and working on my nerves because I just could not. I think as I got older, I realized like, yo, he was boring. Like he wasn't like he wasn't one of those characters that like Fred Flintstone, which was obviously a ripoff of the Honeymooners, right? But he had
Uh,
some personality. He was loud. He would yell. But George Jetson, a piece of wood, had more personality than
now,
George.
I will say I remember Fred Flintstone's
I know the name,
personality
right?
more than I remember George's. I will say that. However, what I remember from Fred Flintstone was that he kind of was, didn't like his wife and kids that much. He hated his job. He was, in one movie, he was like peeping on Halle Berry, like he was about to cheat on his wife. Nothing. I don't have like great memories of his personality.
No, no. We don't talk about the John Goodman version of Fred. I'm talking about the 2D Fred Flintstone who hated his job. He
Uh-huh.
sometimes couldn't deal with his wife, but he loved his daughter.
See, unlike George Jetson, who was a family man, you can't see in this picture here, but we got his wife, Jane, I believe her name was, and
Jane was
she's
on
got
there.
her hand in the pocket with the money, and you can kind of see it in her thumbnail. He
Yeah,
kept
well,
his wife
George,
paid down. His kids
don't
were
do
happy
this.
with the
Don't do
latest.
this. Listen, George Jetson. You know what he has in common with a rug? They both get stepped on. George just
That's
let
right.
anything. He let anything happen. Why was he letting that woman? Why was he letting her just rob him? Like every time I saw the intro, and I think, and okay, see the superior. I see where you're at on this, but no, absolutely not. George is a bore, but I do think Jim Carrey playing him is amazing, and I think Jim Carrey. I don't want to say he's like one of my favorite actors or anything, but I have such appreciation of Jim Carrey. I mean, and it's
Mhm.
not even just because of we talked about what's going on, EC. Um, not only okay, so when he did the whole thing with Dr. Robotnik, I said, "Ooh, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull this off," and he's pulled it off. So him
Uh-huh.
playing George, I think that's going to be cool. He's going to give us some personality. I do want to see what the rest of the cast would be looking like,
Okay.
and I have an interest in it. I'll sit here and say this. Is this something that I was begging for years? No, but this makes me go like this could be fun.
I think it could be fun also. And from what I was able to find out about it, it has been in development for quite some time. However, I think what sparked more of an interest in what could potentially get it all the way into actually being filmed and released is the Fantastic Four. Because those genres look very similar to me, like that old timey futuristic kind of vibe. And Fantastic Four, it did great. As far as Marvel movies are concerned, it's done better than a lot of recent Marvel films. It didn't get as much in the box office as like Infinity Wars or, Spider-Man Brand New Day or whatever.
Yeah,
But
no
it did do pretty well. So I'm thinking that the studio execs are probably looking at that and saying, hey, an easy jump from Fantastic Four would be the Jetsons, in my opinion. Now, especially if you have big names attached, like we get in our Jim Carrey, I could see it, and I would be here for it. I would definitely watch it.
I would be for it.
But let's see. We got a couple comments here from Chris that I did not know I wanted this. Hey, this year's Fantastic Four was not that good. I thought Fantastic Four was better than Superman, but I'll die on that hill alone. Apparently, but
that's a fun conversation because I've heard people say Superman better than Fantastic Four, and the same thing like you said. I enjoyed both. I enjoyed both movies. I would have to really sit there and think about which one, but I do sit here and say, and I hope that they stay faithful to the Jetsons like they have. Who do you think would play Mr. Spacely? And I have somebody for Mr. Spacely.
What's his name? You know what I'm about to say. Phil from Hercules.
Phil's from Hercules.
He played the Penguin in the Batman.
Oh, I agree. Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. If they don't cast him as Mr. Spacely, what are we doing?
Right. Get him now. He's getting up there. Cast that man. With he's a national treasure.
I love that you already knew because I had him already on the brain, and for you to go like
it's almost like did they draw that based off of him? I know the times don't add up, but it's like dang, they look just alike. I can see hear his voice almost in it.
I don't think he has the voice power though. That's the thing. I don't think so. He would need someone to do because Mr. Spacey would be like Jetson, like he has such a vibe. I think if Danny DeVito do that, then that would be the last time we hear of Danny DeVito.
I think he can do it because he was yelling at Matilda's ass, like I don't know what in Matilda.
Well, I mean, and I don't mean to like show my age here, but that was like 30 years ago.
That's true. That's what I say. He's getting up there. We got to get him in more.
Well, days. I mean, Chris here because he's very ageist. He says, "Ain't he like 120?" So that's
the
nice.
The nerve.
I know, right? Like he can't be on a Life Alert commercial, but I look forward to this. The fireball is definitely.
I've fallen in
That is a terrible commercial, but no, I think that's some good stuff, and shout out to you on getting that. What they said, I think it should be the guy.
According to him, he thinks it should be the guy who played in X-Men Days. Which guy? Which guy? Are you talking about Tyrion Lannister?
Who's that? I'm sorry. What role did he play?
The little guy, the dwarf guy. He played.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're talking about? Let us know.
You know what? I honestly think I could go for that. I could go with him in a way, and I know it's so sad because it's like, why did you chose him? But I think also too, he could bring that character. He's a really, I don't watch everything with him. No, he really killed it in Games of Thrones and stuff like that. But I always remembered him in Elf, and he was just so hilarious in Elf. And I just think I do like that pick. I think that's a good one.
I can see it, but he runs into the same problem. Does he have the voice? Does he have the voice?
I think over Danny DeVito, yes, I do.
Okay. Well, that's a good suggestion. Great recasted there, Christopher.
Yes, he kills every role he does. He does.
All right. Well, more.
Some people would say he makes a big difference.
Here you go. Let's not be. Let's not be
you didn't help with that, but let's move on. Let's talk about I wore the shirt on purpose. As you guys, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt.
Okay.
But let's talk about the Ninja Turtles. Like they're not like my favorite thing or anything, but I saw this and I thought this could be a great conversation.
Wait.
What?
Not you open it up with they're not my favorite thing or anything.
Nah, maybe that was the worst way to open up, right? I was just laughing at the picture. I was gonna say like, "Damn, thanks, I did a really good job on it." But The Last Ronin is canceled.
Cancel.
It is canceled. One seater superior. Let's read this right here. Oh wow, I don't know why the way the screen is at, I can't read any of this. But
You want me to read it or you got it?
sure, yeah, please do because I'm gonna embarrass myself. Yes.
Okay, so it says at the same time, The Last Ronin, another TMNT live action CG animation hybrid project that was in development, has been put back into the pizza box, according to sources. The project was being developed as an R-rated feature and has Nobody filmmaker Ayana, I can't say that last name, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
in talks to direct. But the new regime wasn't keen on having the first non-animated movie in 10 years be bloody, adult skewing story. One insider says the studio wants to leave the door open to possibly revisit it down the road. Oh, so because it's rated R, they decided not to, move forward with it. That sucks.
And that do sucks because once again, the Ninja Turtles, they've been around for a long time, and it's like I feel like some of these movies is almost like retelling and stuff like that. And I think this would have been an interesting story for people to get, like, bring people in, and I think it would have brought an interest into the Ninja Turtle brand.
Mhm.
And like something like that. And the Ninja Turtles, like, I know they try to make it kid friendly and for the family and all that stuff.
But
But the Ninja
why
Turtles,
though? Why?
I
Because
don't.
they recently had an animated Ninja Turtles that did really well, right?
Mhm, mhm,
The last live action Ninja Turtles didn't do so well as far as I can remember.
mhm.
But there seems to be more of a demand for R-rated kind of nostalgia films, I feel like. Which is why partly the reason why I think Blade has been taking so long, because I think originally they were trying to make it rated R, then they wanted to bring it to PG-13, and it seems like it would be.
Mhm.
I would be here for a rated R. Was
I
what
would be
basically.
down for it. I would be down just for this story to be told. I mean, I've heard a little bit about not even just about, but I heard a little bit of the story on
Mhm.
YouTube, and they would break it down. I'm like, oh, this would be interesting, especially when you look at Michelangelo. He's the last surviving turtle, and I think we can all agree, like, none of us would have thought it would be Michelangelo.
Yeah, not him.
Yeah, I thought that would have been. I think they dropped the ball here, but I do want to keep on some Ninja Turtles stuff here. I'm just on Ninja Turtle mood here, I guess, but with this being canceled, what else is being canceled and done is the last show, the Tales of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
They confirmed that the cancellation, and that on Threads, the guy was saying that the next up and coming episodes are their last, but he said they're the best ones. So I don't know if people are just not even people. I don't know if people are just fatigued of Ninja Turtles or there's not a high
how?
demand. I
I
don't
honestly feel
know.
like the Ninja Turtles comes around once every 5-10 years.
I like that 10 years, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and the last one in the movie theaters did really well. So
The
what?
animate, did you see that one? The animated?
No, I didn't, but I've
Okay.
heard great things about it though.
Okay. Okay.
So I wonder why they have cold feet all of a sudden. Maybe the ratings were bad for the
No,
cartoon.
it's funny because the turtles. I'm sorry. That wasn't even meant to be funny, but that was I don't know why they got cold feet, and I'm just like, they're turtles. That's
Yeah,
great.
I guess
But I
so.
don't know. But I don't know though. I don't know if it's just there's no demand for the Ninja Turtles anymore, or I don't know how the show was doing, if the ratings were bad. But they
Mhm.
were even saying something over the lines about Paramount. They're gonna take over, and they're gonna like sonicify. That's the word they use, sonicify the Ninja Turtles. So I don't know what that means I mean, kind of get what it means, but uh I don't know.
You
I
know
just
what?
want what?
I have a feeling that once Mortal Kombat comes out, if it does good,
Mhm,
and Street Fighter comes out, if it does good,
mhm.
they're going to go all in on the Ninja Turtle, because that's around that same area, like around that same timeline. I feel like when things were popular, Street Fighter, Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, it sounded like a great day when you were a kid. And I feel like
Right.
it hinges off of the success of those movies. If those movies do well,
Mhm.
then I feel like they're going to release some more Ninja Turtles.
All right, we'll see what happens.
We shall see. We shall
Which,
see. But speaking of movies, right?
whoa.
And nostalgia, we have Avengers Doomsday. Leaked photos on the Avengers Doomsday set revealed X-Men cast in comic book accurate suits. So I have a couple of the images here, right? So get ready to take your screenshots if you're watching. So this comes to us from Small Screens and Co. Again, Avengers Doomsday update. Wild leaked X-Men photos had fans losing their minds until the two dropped earlier today. Images started circulating online. It appeared to be Fox X-Men returning to the comic book accurate costumes. So in the images here, it looks like we have from left to right, we have Cyclops.
Oh,
We have Gambit. I believe what was her name
that
in
was
WandaVision?
oh my god.
It's escaping me, but she was
Something.
in
Yeah, go ahead.
WandaVision. We have Nightcrawler, Professor X, and Magneto, of course, in their comic book accurate suits. And there's further leaks. There's Doomsday here, and of course the cast again. So this was very interesting because for one, like, how did this all leak? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Can I just say that Cyclops costume? I want to cosplay that so badly.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool.
I need to get my monies up. But the question you were saying, what are my thoughts about the suits?
What are your thoughts on the suits? Well, before we get into that, let me reveal a little further information about the images that we're looking at, because shortly after the internet went wild over the suits, it was revealed that it was all a lie, guys, all a fake. So these are AI created images. And it was revealed after some very studious fans noticed that the Doom costume was off. It wasn't what was revealed before. And after people online further investigated the photos, it was revealed that they are AI generated. So it wasn't an official leak. It was some, con artists out here on the streets who got over on everybody for quite some time. But thoughts?
That person should go to jail. Because why did you get me hyped? Like that first picture you see where you see all of them together, I was hearing about that being AI, but then I was looking at the other pictures and I was sitting there going like, oh snap, I never saw, because I didn't see those other ones. I was like, oh, maybe maybe those ones are real. And yeah, no, it's disappointing because like I know I probably should wait until the movie and you see everything and then you get your hype levels and stuff like that. Like, don't spoil it for yourself, be surprised. But yeah, no, I'm so disappointed in hearing that now. I'm just like, oh, I feel so alive. And I was gonna say Magneto. I was looking at the costume. I say, with him with the beard, that looks pretty BA.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Oh, excuse me, it's Dr. Doom, not Doomsday. Doomsday is the name of the film. It's so, why do they make it so complicated like that? Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, Dr. Doom. I said Dr. Doom did not even look accurate. See, that's what gave it away. That's what gave it away, according to online sources. But for me, after figuring that out, I was looking at the picture to the right here with just the three. We got Cyclops and Gambit and our lady from WandaVision. That picture looked a little generated to me, because why are you just taking selfies on and it's leaked? Who leaked it? You?
That's a good question. That was a good question.
That was the one that after I figured out, or after I found out that it was AI, I was like, oh, okay, I can see this one being a little funny.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, you got to be careful out here on these internet streets, man. It's you never know.
That's why I look both ways.
Yes, great decision. But speaking of looking both ways, let's look further down the road to our next bit of geek news here. We have some very troubling information. We have Aaron Paul not returning to Invincible. It was way too grueling, according to the actor. Now, Powerplex was a standout of last season, in my opinion. I really enjoyed his episode, his story. But we get this information from the Hollywood Reporter, I believe it is. And they said in an interview with Kind of Funny Games podcast, Paul spoke about his role in Invincible and why he won't be returning as the supervillain. So we got a direct quote here from Paul. He said, I did a couple of episodes and they asked me to come back for the next season. But I've got to tell you, that show I'm such a fan of. I watch every episode. I love it. It was just way too grueling on my psyche. It was such an emotional dot dot dot. I have such respect for what they're doing. And he goes on to further say that Powerplex, the character, is going through things, turmoil, put myself in the skin, and it was a skin I didn't feel comfortable in.
I
So
can imagine. Yeah.
he's not coming back. It seems from what he's saying, it's the role of the character, even though again, I don't he had maybe about 2 episodes, one full episode and like one reappearance, I feel like.
I think it was like one more. I think he did like a total of like 3, but like, yeah, I get what you're saying. He
But
wasn't.
very small parts of 3. He had a full episode of just him.
Mhm.
And maybe like 1 or 2 where he was just like at the end of the episode with a couple lines, right? It wasn't like
Yeah.
a full thing as far as I can remember. Maybe I'm misremembering.
No,
Um,
I think you're on. I think you're onto it.
yeah, it seems like that wasn't if you're an actor and you're a working actor, why turn down a voice acting role where you just show up in your pajamas essentially and lay through a few lines and go home? So people were speculating that it wasn't due to the grueling atmosphere of the character in the Invincible set. It was particularly because of his game that he has out, which seems to draw a lot of inspiration from Invincible. It's called Dispatch, and it's
Oh,
about a retired superhero who essentially dispatches other heroes for emergencies, and he is put in charge of a team of supervillains. And it gives very much Invincible, right? I don't know. It seems like it could be a conflict of interest there. If it's 2 superhero storylines and they're kind of drawing inspiration from one to the other. But what do you think?
I heard about the stuff. I didn't even know about that last part, but I heard that he was not going to be back and stuff, and he was talking about. It made me think about because I just took I took his word that he was saying that the role was just a little, it messed with his psyche, and I thought about with Michael B. Jordan for a time when he was playing, and I know it's 2 different medias that we're talking about here, but when he was playing Killmonger, and he was saying like it really messed with him for a while, and he had to like do things to kind of get back to where he was at before playing that role. So I was just saying like, oh, I get that, I could get that, even though it's just voicing. I was saying maybe, I mean, Powerplex was he had a really tragic story.
He did, but literally, it's a few lines, bro. Just clock in. You're an actor, right? You're a working actor. I guess he doesn't need the money, right? Because he
I'm
still
sure
has
he
all of
don't.
that money from Breaking Bad, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure. But
Mhm.
this is my gripe about hiring famous actors for voice acting roles, because you never know, right? You never. If this was a hungry voice actor out here,
He would have took it. No, I get you.
he would have took it. He would have came back, no problem. But you're out here hiring these, acting, people in Hollywood. They can take it or leave it, and next thing you know, you're SOL. So less famous
But
actors, more regular actors. And
and I,
honestly, I don't feel like having him as Powerplex really added any viewers. I don't know if anybody's tuning in because Powerplex is voiced by Aaron Paul, for real, for real. Like, maybe I'm out of the loop, but
I'm totally out of the loop.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, and like how Chris said in here, he's a voice, and he can be replaced. Um, he could totally be replaced. I don't
Mhm.
even know if in season what are we in now? Season 4, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's going to be in this season and stuff like that. So we have to wait
Well,
and see. But
apparently
like,
if he was asked to be in it, I'm assuming that the character has, a greater role to
that's true.
play.
Right.
And it's disappointing that he couldn't follow through. But again, stop hiring these actors, man. Get you a regular
Yeah.
voice actor that's here for the money and the
I'll say
passion.
I'm
And
saying this right now. I have the voice. I can scream invincible. I can scream that all day. So if you need somebody, I'm your guy.
uh-huh.
This stuff don't torture me. I live in New York, so I'm constantly tortured. So trust and believe, I'm not going anywhere. I would be right there screaming and saying, I'll say their names. I forgot, what was it? He said his wife, Jessica,
Oh yeah.
Mark. I don't know if it was Mark. I don't know.
Just
I know Mark. He was totally. It was such a sad story. Like I remember we would review it, and I'd be like, "Yo, why are we reviewing this episode? This is a sad episode."
It was a good episode, man. It was a good episode.
Yeah,
But
but Invincible. I just want to say real quick, and we're done. Invincible is going to be fine without him, though.
that's true.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. I don't think it's a gigantic loss or anything like that. But I do hear what you're saying, though. At the same time, like these guys who, um, you know, they don't need the money. They could easily just he
Yeah.
could have quit it by episode 1.
Uh-huh.
So you know,
So,
Vincent will be
question.
fine.
I'm
Sure,
I'm interested to know
sure.
what your thoughts are on this. Have you ever watched the show or gone to see a movie because a famous actor was voice acting in it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, same. So I'm like, what? It seems like it's not that big of a
No, it's not.
draw, but and it's a
No,
huge expense. What are
no.
they doing here with this?
Matter of fact, a lot of times there's a and you're big on anime, so there's a guy, I forget, I think he's in Bleach, um, but he was a Power Ranger. I forget his name, Yumbuck or something like that. Josh,
Okay.
I forget him. But anyway, my point is, like, when I was told, like, oh, he voiced that, I was like, oh, he did. I didn't know
Uh-huh.
because I don't really like when it comes to voice actors. I'm not. There's certain voice actors that I am familiar with, and like I'll hear it, like
The Sonic guy.
Stop that. But there was
But
I
yeah.
forgot her name, Creed Summers. I want to say her name is,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
was and she did like Susie from
Mhm.
Rugrats. She did number 4, was it from
Yeah.
His Next Door? I'm just saying I recognize like certain people I know their voice, but I'm not gonna I don't go out my way because it's the voice actor,
Yeah. So
if that makes sense.
hopefully they'll learn their like even though it seems like a lot of voice acting jobs are going to, AI anyway. But
They're
yeah,
putting us
let's
out of
just
business.
yeah, running them out of business. So just replace the actors with regular voice actors and not, AI voices. But yeah, I'm off my soapbox. That's the show today, guys. Thanks for tuning
Mind you,
in.
you're like 6 foot. You don't have to be on a soapbox.
I do not. I do not. But thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video, and join us next week for some more geek news. Goodbye. See ya.